Welcome to Happy Headlines with Chico Chad, as I bring you inspirational news by the Good News Network, who was started by Jerry Weis-Corbley. Now you can see Jerry here with her, and now the Good News paperback book that is full of inspiring stories that has brought people joy all around the world. Now she is #1 on Amazon for journalism. I would suggest go out and support Jerry. Buy the book now. Jerry also hosts the GNN podcast with a co-host Anthony, and you can find them on iTunes as the Good News Gurus, and you can also find them on Android on Podbean. If you're an Android lover, I definitely would suggest downloading Podbean and listening to the Good News Gurus. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Anthony. Happy Headlines brought to you by Chico Chad. Never, ever underestimate the importance of having fun. And that is a quote by Randy Pausch. On this day in history, Happy Headline is bringing you more exciting and inspirational headlines. 10 years ago today, nearly 33 Chilean miners trapped deep underground for a record of 69 days made a 17-minute journey to the surface one by one after surviving the best they could under the international team of rescuers who were able to drill a passage and provide an escape pod. Never had anyone been rescued from such depth, more than 1/3 of a mile, 622 meters underground. I remember this because I was living in Sweden at the time, and one of my friends, her uncle, was actually one of the ones trapped in there, and it was unbelievable how the world came together to help these workers out, and I really appreciate that. That is a great inspirational story. What do you think? Let me know what you think about this story. Do you remember this story? If you remember this story, please leave a comment below. The world was glued to their television screens for 2 months as engineers worked to devise a plan, and NASA provided the pod that would lift them to the surface. Watch the NBC video on YouTube. Also, on this Good News Day in history, the cornerstone of the White House was laid during a ceremony in the new capital of the United States in Washington, D.C. in 1792. Ameritech Mobile Communications, now AT&T, launched the first U.S. cellular network in Chicago, Illinois in 1983. South Korean President Kim Dae-jung was named winner of the Nobel Peace Prize for his work to bring peace in North Korea in 2000. Every one of the 362,000 elementary school students in Uruguay and 18,000 teachers became part of the One Laptop Per Child project, receiving a $100 laptop from the organization set up by Nicholas Negroponte in 2009. Bob Dylan, at 75 years old, was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature, and having created a new poetic expressions within the great American song tradition, becoming the first songwriter to win the prestigious award in 2016. Happy birthday to musician and singer Paul Simon, who turned 79 years old today. Look at him looking good, still playing there. Let's give it up for Paul Simon, people. If you like Paul Simon and you think he's a wonderful singer, please leave some comments below. 26 years ago today, Northern Ireland reached agreement for peace after the three main loyalist parliamentary groups announced a ceasefire in Belfast in response to a similar truce by the Irish Republican Army, also known as the IRA, 7 weeks earlier. After 25 years of civil unrest, the declaration was hailed by political leaders on all sides. The Irish Prime Minister said the announcement marked the closure of a tragic chapter in our history. That was in 1994. Also, on this day in history, October 13th, in 1843, Henry Jones and 11 others founded the B'nai B'rith in New York City, the oldest Jewish service organization in the world. The new group's constitution called for visiting and attending the sick and protecting and assisting the widow and the orphan. Since 1865, it has also assisted victims of natural and man-made disasters from the Great Chicago Fire of 1871 to the 2010 earthquakes in Haiti and Chile. Just 6 weeks after the signing of the Camp David Accords between Israel and Egypt in 1978, B'nai B'rith was the first Jewish group to visit the Arab country at the invitation of President Anwar Sadat. It also is involved in politics, combats anti-Semitism, advocates for the health care and social security, and sponsors housing for Jewish seniors with its network of 36 resident buildings in over 27 cities. Let's give it up. What do you think about the B'nai B'rith in New York City? If you're in the Jewish community and you want to give some feedback on that, please leave a comment below for the happy headlines. Happy headlines, and this man is smiling. He is so happy. Tyler Perry to be honored with the People's Champion Award for his years of doing good deeds. And I love this. The actor and producer Tyler Perry is being recognized next month for his trailblazing work in entertainment, unwavering commitment to support charities, and for inspiring empathy and progress for humankind. The renowned philanthropist will be honored with the People's Champion of 2020, awarded at the People Choice Awards, which will be broadcasted on Sunday evening, November 15th. Make sure you tune in for that. And if you like Tyler Perry, please leave a comment below, because I remember when he was doing plays, he was coming to Miami to, just people would line up to see him do plays. He was hilarious. He brought comic, he brought relief, he brought inspiration to the people, and I really like that. Thank you, Tyler Perry. In a year of unrest and uncertainty, Tyler Perry proved a natural leader, reads on E! News statement. From his pioneering efforts in successfully and safely restarting production and creating jobs at Tyler Perry Studios to personally supporting charities and families in need, he continuously inspires hope in people. Yes, he does. I definitely agree with that. Tyler Perry has made history on multiple accounts, from opening the largest privately owned motion picture studio in the U.S. to receiving a slew of prestigious accolades for his work. In 2020, Tyler once again made history by becoming one of the first filmmakers to safely resume filming amid COVID-19 pandemic and creating Camp Quarantine on the Tyler Perry Studios lots in Atlanta, Georgia, and was named one of Time's most 100 influential people. Give it up for Tyler Perry. All right. After making history and becoming the first African American to own a major film studio outright, opening Tyler Perry Studios last year, he announced plans to build a shelter for disadvantaged youth and homeless women to be located on the new 330-acre film studio property in Atlanta, Georgia. Man, he is doing great things. He started out, doing plays. Now look at this man. It can be done if you put your mind to it. He has proven to us, people, that we can do it. He can do it. We can do it. I'm not the first one to do it. I'm the next one to do it. That's Chico Chaz's motto. With the box office of success Like the long-running Medea film series, Perry became the richest man in Hollywood and has produced 22 feature films and over 1,275 episodes of television. Perry generously has also reached blockbuster status stemming from his Christian faith. He has been intimately involved and donated generously to civil rights and human rights causes. Perry also strongly supports the charities serving the homeless, including Feeding America, Global Medical Relief Fund, and Covenant House, among others. Thank you so much, Tyler Perry. I just want to tell you, you are amazing. You're doing a wonderful job. Keep it up, brother. Keep it up. If you like what Tyler Perry's doing, please leave a comment below, and Chico Chad will respond to your comment. Happy Headlines has brought you another inspiring news report. Happy Headlines. After dad revolutionizes the modern playground for his daughter, other cities adopt his brilliant design. When the devoted Oregon dad set out to revolutionize his local playground in Portland, he had only planned on making it more disability friendly for his daughter Harper, who has been using a wheelchair for her entire life. 11 years later, his ideas are making playgrounds more fun and accessible for everyone, regardless of their disability. G. Cody Q.J. Goldberg was inspired to redesign the modern playground after he took Harper to the playground for the first time in 2009. To his dismay, he found that the wood chips surrounding the play equipment made it inaccessible for his 4-year-old daughter's wheelchair. Upon hearing the Goldbergs' frustrations, the City Parks and Recreations Department said that they didn't have money for any new projects, but they would support the playground's reconstruction if it was privately funded. The Goldbergs then launched Harper's Playground, a nonprofit devoted to opening more handicapped accessible U.S. playgrounds, and after 3 years of tireless fundraising, they opened the first park to the public in November 2010. The playground features everything from musical instruments and handicapped accessible play equipment to green social spaces and paved ramps, which are used by skateboarders and wheelchair users alike. Goldberg told Freethink that Harper's Playground in Portland is designed with 3 levels of enrichment for children. The space to be physically inviting, so if you use wheels, you can get absolutely anywhere, says Goldberg. Then we say it should be socially inviting, with circular seating areas, communal gathering spaces, and the use of nature. And then the 3rd level is what we call emotionally inviting, and that's by using art, good design lines, music, and things that put us in even a better emotional state. Since launching their park in Portland, the nonprofit has inspired the construction of several other similar design playgrounds across the U.S. Look at that. Take a gander, guys. That looks beautiful. If you have any comments on the story that I just covered, please leave the comments below, and my team and I will respond. Thank you so much. You guys are great. Thank you for listening to me. Happy Headlines is bringing you Canada is banning single-use plastic bags, straws, and cutlery next year. Plastic is polluting our rivers, lakes, and oceans, harming wildlife and generating microplastics in the water we use and drink. That's why the Canadian government is promising to ban single-use plastics in 2021. I remember the first time I went to California. I went to the grocery store and I was waiting for them to bag my stuff. But the bag cost 10 cents. And I kind of just grabbed my stuff and walked out the door with it in my hand, whatever it was, some milk and cereal and other stuff, you know, just to take back to the hotel room. But let me tell you, I now carry a reusable grocery bag, and that is the goal here. That is the goal here. To reuse the bag. Don't throw them away. Don't throw them in the river. Come on, folks. Take care of your land. Love it. We borrowing this land from our children. Every year, Canadians throw away 3 million tons of plastic waste, only 9% of which is recycled, meaning the vast majority of the plastics end up in landfills, and about 29,000 tons finds its way into our natural environment. On October 7th, Canada's Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Jonathan Wilkinson, announced that the next steps in the government's plan to achieve zero plastic waste by 2030, the plan, he says, will protect wildlife and waters, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and create jobs. A key part of the announcement is to ban harmful single-use plastic items where there is evidence that they are found in the environment and often not recycled and have readily available alternatives. Thank you so much, Canada, for stepping up. Thank you for getting rid of those single-use plastic bag straws and cutlery. The world needs more of that. If you think that Canada is doing something great, or you think that they're making the right move, please leave a comment below. I would love to hear your comment. My team and I will get back to you and respond. Thank you. In a yummy proposal, English gent asked his girlfriend to marry him by using a pizza. Haha, how cool is that? Will you marry me? Look at that. Look at that. Now, will you marry me? Man, they must really love pizza. That is awesome. It's in the shape of a heart and everything. Loved up 27-year-old Walter Monero had planned to pop the question to his partner 5 years, Sofia Flora, in Italy. Good pizza in Italy, I'm telling you from experience. Brian Restaurante, world champion of pizza. But their holiday was canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic, so he decided to bring a taste of Italy to them instead. He arranged a romantic meal at a restaurant in London where waiters brought out heart-shaped pizzas. They had the words, "Will you marry me?" written across them in crust and presented to his girlfriend. Walter pulled out the ring from his pocket and Sophia said yes before standing up and giving him a kiss. The other diners, of course, burst into cheers for the couple before they tucked into their meal. "I love pizza, so it was the perfect proposal," Sophia said. "It was a complete surprise. I had no idea it was coming. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with Walter." Sophia says she had not suspected a thing when Walter promised a weekend getaway to London. At the restaurant, it was beautiful and felt like we were actually in Italy. "It was the best feeling ever," she said. Look at that. Look at that beautiful ring, people. Look at that. That is beautiful. She is so happy. I love it. I actually thought that was cheese, but it's not. It's bread. Booyah! Thank you, beautiful people, for joining in to Happy Headlines. Millions of plastic bottles will be offset as a remote town gets renewable drinking water created from sunlight. Last week, Source Global announced their third successful collaboration with Conservation International, which is delivering sustainable clean drinking water to the indigenous people of Palawan in the Philippines. Look at that. Look at that. Sunlight is love. Sunlight brings love, and I love it. The array of source and hydro panels will create more than 40,000 liters of renewable drinking water each year, powered by only sunshine, while offsetting more than 2 million plastic water bottles. Remote locations, otherwise nearly impossible to serve, are where source hydro panels shine. And in this Palawan indigenous community now has renewable, cost-efficient, and clean drinking water that will improve their lives, says Cody Friesian, founder of CEO Source. Look at that. Look at these kids. Got clean drinking water. Look at that. They are so happy. Thank you. Thank you for getting rid of the plastic bottles. This is something awesome. Thank you. If you think they're doing something great here in the Philippines, please leave a comment below. My team and I will respond to you. We will love to hear what you have to say. Happy headlines for seniors. Look at this. The best exercise for seniors and high-intensity interval training study says. A twice-a-week routine of high-intensity interval training shows a marked effect on fitness and overall well-being in people over 70, according to the new study. Regular cardio sessions centered around short bursts of intense workouts broken up by brief rest periods can help us stay healthier for longer, according to researchers at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. When the 5-year study began in 2012, researchers called it Generation 100 and randomly divided healthy patients into 3 different training groups. One group was assigned to high-intensity interval training called HIIT, using the 4x4 method twice a week, doing 4 minutes of 85 to 95% maximum heart rate aerobic exercise and 4 minutes of 60% maximum heart rate of 4 rounds. Group 2 was instructed to train at a steady, moderate intensity for 50 minutes. The participants could choose whether they wanted to train on their own or participate in a group training with instructors. The third group, the control group, was advised to exercise according to the Norwegian Health Authority's recommendations. This group was not often organized training under the Generation 100, but was called in for regular health checks and fitness assessments. First of all, I have to say that exercise in general seems to be good for the health and the elderly. And our study shows that on top of that, training regularly at high intensity has an extra positive effect. A professor of the university's cardiac exercise research program quoted, "Both physical and mental quality of life were better in the high intensity group after 5 years than in the other 2 groups. High intensity interval training also had the greatest positive effect on fitness," according to Steve Vold. Look at that. They're keeping our seniors in shape. They looking good. Give it up for the seniors. Yeah. So high intensity interval training, HIIT, HIIT, can keep you healthy. You don't have to wait till you get to be a senior to do it. Just kind of Google it online and follow the steps. I bet these are the happiest people in the world right here. The 2020 Nobel Peace Prize goes to the world's largest hunger program. Woo! How about that? The 2020 Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to the world's largest humanitarian organization that feeds the hungry. The World Food Program, WFP, won the award for its efforts to combat hunger and bettering conditions for peace and conflict-affected areas by seeking to prevent the use of hunger as a weapon. In 2019, the United Nations, WFP provided assistance to close to 100 million people in 88 countries who were victims of acute food insecurity and hunger, most of them who suffered because of war and armed conflict. Look at that. Look at these people. Yes. Raise the fist. More power to you. This nonprofit was a participant in the diplomatic process in May 2018 in the UN Security Council's unanimous adoption for Resolution 2417, which is the first time explicitly addressed the link between conflict and hunger and urged member states to help ensure that food assistance reaches those in need and condemn those to use of starvation as a method of warfare. Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy headlines. I bet he made his staff happy. Generous boss gives $12.7 million to his staff saying thank you as he retires. That's something unbelievable. That is something that you don't hear every day, people. If you think this man did something great, please leave a comment below. Thank you so much for listening to me. You're beautiful, and you are listening to Chico Chad as he brings you happy headlines. When a person retires after many years of service, they traditionally receive a card full of farewell wishes from their colleagues and often a thoughtful gift, a framed photo, or a large bouquet of flowers perhaps. The tradition has been turned on its head at one UK company. The boss is retiring and he's gifting £10 million, which is $12.7 million, to his employees as a goodbye. David Stevens is a chief executive admiral, the successful Wales-based motor insurance company that's been enlisted in London Stock Exchange since 2004. He co-founded the business with his wife Heather in 1991. Starting with a team of just 57, they now have 7,500 staff in the south of Wales and 3,000 overseas in the US, Spain, Italy, France, India, and Canada. Full-time workers will get £1,000 and part-time staff will receive £500. The 58-year-old CEO explained to the BBC, saying thank you to the all Admiral staff in this way is the right thing to do. We're proud and fortunate to have worked with such a great, special group of people. This is great gratitude. This is giving back. That money helped somebody. That money helped somebody. Somebody needed that, and they gave back. Gratitude is amazing, people. If you have a gratitude story or a gratitude comment, please leave it below, because you're beautiful, and I want you to have a gratitude day. Thank you for joining Chico Chad on this day, October 13th. Happy headlines!